Good morning, everybody. I've just come out for a lovely walk again in my lovely local park. Nice little lake there, pond. And I took a photo like I did the other day to sort of show that, starting off the day with a nice routine sometimes can really perk you up, especially if you're in a bit of a low mood or you're a bit frustrated, a bit overwhelmed. And I saw some of the ducks on there and I thought it reminded me of the analogy of people seeming calm on the surface and their legs are going like the clappers underneath and they're struggling to keep up. And we all go through that sometimes, don't we? That sort of feel like things are getting on top of us, overwhelm. The other day, for example, I was dropping my son off at school and then started to think about my working day ahead. And I knew I had lots on. We've got big pressures to deliver what we've got to deliver. And I was frustrated because we're not getting where I want to be faster. Yeah, and I just started to get this real panic attack in the car. And I've never really had that before, but I just started to get this sort of tightness of chest and just like, oh my God, And I thought, I'm gonna have to pull over in a minute and just have a few deep breaths. But the thing is, once you get into that negative state, you sort of spiral and you start panicking even more, and that can sort of lead you down the well of, despair, and, you might pass out or feel faint or something like that. And so what I did, I opened both windows, got some fresh air inside me, lots of deep breaths, started doing some sort of box breathing where you sort of do, 4 seconds in, 4 second hold, 4 second out and repeat, and just get into a nice calm state. And once I was in that calm state, I was able to put things into perspective. And, when my brain kicks back in, rather than the sort of fight or flight mode, I'm okay, because I realised, look, this is just a job. This is just a contract. It's not important in the grand scheme of things. Our health, my health is the most important thing to me, and you've got to be selfish with that. That is the most important thing. You've got to put your own oxygen mask on before you can help other people. Obviously, family is, very important to me and dear to me, but you have to look after yourself first. You have to be selfish in certain aspects of life, I believe. And so once I sort of got things into perspective, sorry, let me just walk and talk. Once I got things more into perspective and realised, look, it's just my frustrations that work isn't going as well as I want it to be. And, I'm not going to die at the end of the day, hopefully. And it's not going to be the end of the world if we don't get things done that day. And there's a natural progression to things, isn't there? If there's a blockage or a problem with something at work, then you work through that blockage or problem and ultimately try and find a solution. So that's what I invite you to do. If you feel a bit, overwhelmed or blocked or stuck, then just try and break it down into constituent components. Realise where you are, realise where you want to be, and it's just the journey you're on. And you don't need to take it personally. You don't need to take it all on the weight of your shoulders. I remember when I was out of work for a while, out of contract, that I felt this massive weight, a massive burden on my shoulders of financial responsibility. As a husband, as a father, as the man of the house, the person earning. I don't mean that in any chauvinistic way. I mean, as in, at one point in the past, my wife wasn't working, or she had a job, but it wasn't paying very much. So therefore, I was the main breadwinner. But when I was then out of contract, it felt like a massive responsibility on my shoulders to pay for all the bills, to pay for the house, to pay for everything that we have. And it was only by talking about that with my wife and really trying to explain to her that pressure, she wasn't putting me under that pressure, but I felt like I was putting that pressure on me. And there obviously was a real pressure in the sense of I had bills to pay and mortgages to pay. But once I sort of aired those feelings and talked about it, we made some plans to get over those issues. And, my wife got a job that was paying a bit more money and started to pay for a few things, and it just sort of took that little burden, that took that bit of pressure off me. You know, I went and got a 0% credit card, for example. So, you know, I don't advocate credit cards. You know, credit cards are fine if you know how to use them. You don't pay interest. I never pay a penny of interest ever. And it all comes from my mum and dad paying loads of interest on their access card and getting into financial trouble. So I will never pay interest for virtually anything apart from mortgage payments where I have to. But I took out, there was a money saving expert 0% credit card. And I think it gave me a 10 grand line of credit for something like 2 years. And straight away when I got that card, that relieved some pressure as well, because I just knew that I wasn't panicking from month to month. I had money to pay the mortgage, but I knew that worst case, I could feed my family on that 0% credit card and I don't have to pay it back for 2 years. And, you know, I got a job within whatever it was, you know, a year after COVID, and, you know, obviously paid that money back, no problem, didn't pay a penny of interest. But just relieving that burden of pressure, whether it's by talking or by practical solutions or by self-realization that the problem is not as big as you perceiving it to be, I find can really help. And like I say, lots of people out there may look fine on the surface, but their legs are going like that, like the clappers, trying to survive, trying to get by, trying to get a role, whatever it is for you. So just bear that in mind when you speak to people or where you see people, and don't make, you know, assumptions, you know, to the contrary on that. Anyway, I hope that's useful. I just thought I'd share that while I have this lovely walk in this lovely park today, because this makes me feel a bit more grounded, gets my head clear for the day ahead. I've got frustrations at work, but I can just put them in a box and deal with those later. I'm going to go back, go to the shops, go and have a nice coffee, and then tackle the day. Okay, if you need any help or support in any area, whether it's, you know, mental health or more things like CV, LinkedIn, obviously just get in touch. But if you just want a 15-minute chat with me, we can talk about anything at all. Okay, where you are, where you're struggling, I'm happy to try and fit that into my day somewhere. Okay, I wish you all the best. Have a fantastic day. Bye.